Well, hello you Diablo legends, Athoraxe here, and hello to all the fellow Barbs and Iron Maelstromers out there. And today I'd like to talk to you about the current affairs regarding Iron Maelstrom in Season 7 and how the build has been getting on. This is basically a follow-up video of my PTR video just to kind of showcase you guys exactly what's been going on. First off, I had a great start with the season. Yeah, see, Variana approves. What can I say? But yes, I had a great start. Everything went well. The build has been decently performing. There are some issues which I'm going to talk about, but generally speaking, we managed to get to tier 4 pretty fast. We've had almost no issues, even though the build has been nerfed a bit, and you know, it's you can kind of see there's a bit of a difference. Generally speaking, the build is still very powerful, and it would have been even more powerful, even borderline broken, if not for a bug with one of the aspects, which is aspect of Apogeic Fury. Now, I have reported the bug to the official Blizzard forums, Diablo 4 forums, and hopefully they fix it up very soon, because that bug is actually causing us a lot of trouble. We're losing a lot of DPS because of that bug, and if they fix it, hopefully even sooner than the mid-season patch, we're gonna have a great boost of DPS. Now, the reason why this bug appeared, I believe, is because they had to nerf the build, and I understand that. And one of the nerfs was involved actually nerfing Apogeic Fury itself. It used to be 360%, now it can be only 200%. And I believe somewhere, oh, I just got a scroll of escape, lucky me. And I believe somewhere along the lines of changing the code, they might have made a mistake or something, but it's not working properly, and it's going out of sync with the Earthstriker aspect, and because of that going out of sync, the damage is just bad. Essentially, what should be happening is, here is your Earthstriker, and it's going up, you know, as you ramp up your Iron Maelstrom, and here is Apogeic Fury, and it should be going up. They should be both going up at the same time, together, synced up. What's happening now is Earthstriker is going up, Apogeic Fury goes up, and then it takes a turn down, and it starts going down, then it starts climbing up again. So basically, it just really messes up the damage. It's very sad, and it's just causing us a lot of trouble. Now, even with the bug, we're still able to do tier 4 content without any trouble, one-shotting stuff, bosses, ubers. We are able to push pits. I have managed to push up to pit 100, so absolutely zero troubles. It's been a bit hard, right? But then again, possible. We are going to be able to, even in this broken state of the build, or bugged state of the build because of the aspect, we will be able to push pits probably to 120, if not even more, by of course properly masterworking ourselves and gearing up ourselves. Me personally, I've had a very good start, and I've managed to gear myself up quite decently. I have been working, so I haven't had the time to play the game 18 hours a day, but at least 8 to 10 hours a day I have been able to spare. So as you can guys see, I've managed to gear up quite nicely. So this is pretty much showcasing you the build with a decent amount of gear, not perfectly masterworked or gem equipped or having everything I need, but about 70% yeah, ready. Yeah, pretty much geared up. Some of the things I've managed to even masterwork perfectly, so yeah, there we are. And with this kind of gear and with this kind of masterwork and everything, if Apogeic Fury is in sync with Earthstriker, we are able to hit about 150 billions, right? So compared to the PTR, where we're hitting about 200, that's pretty decent, right, for this state. So I would say, even with the nerfs, the build is going okay. As long as they fix this bug, we're gonna be golden. We're gonna be doing pits 114 or 50 probably when we're fully geared up. So it's possible. With a lot of work, we can reach the same stage that we had in the PTR, and with the proper min-maxing, we're gonna be there. Now, guys, I'm gonna show you a pit 100, and I'm gonna show you that it is possible, even with the problems. So, yeah. There are still some issues with the build itself naturally, such as you want to have a good amount of cooldown reduction. You want to have above 50% of cooldown reduction. If you do, you're gonna have zero troubles with the internal cooldown reduction of Iron Maelstrom. Basically, to explain it to you if you haven't been playing the build itself, there is an internal cooldown reduction of Iron Maelstrom. So Iron Maelstrom has 3 parts. When you cast the first part, and then when you try to cast the second part and the third part, the first time you should have no problems. But if you reset the cooldown of the whole ultimate very quickly and you try to cast it again, the first and the second part, there's going to be a delay between the first and the second part and the second and the third, right? That's called the internal cooldown reduction, right? The internal cooldown, right? So with global cooldown reduction, or with the, I call it global cooldown reduction, but it's just the stat cooldown reduction. With having a lot of cooldown reduction above 50%, you're almost able to eliminate that internal cooldown. And exactly, if you actually get 60 or 70% of this stat of cooldown reduction, you should have almost no problems with the internal cooldown reduction. With internal cooldown, sorry, too many cooldowns, right? And ideally speaking, once you get to that stage, you can actually also start having a lot of attack speed. If you have a lot of attack speed and you don't have enough cooldown reduction, you're gonna struggle. Your build is going to throttle. So you wanna avoid that. But I've reached, as you can see, a pretty good stage, and I'm gonna show you guys now firsthand what the build is capable of doing. The build is very good at AoE clears, very good. Not so good at boss fights, right? But still quite good. I have made some adjustments to the build, so you will be able to see the adjustments yourself in the I'm gonna leave a link in the YouTube description. I'm also going to leave a link to the thread reporting the bug of Apogeic Fuhrer, so you can kind of, guys, see it for yourself. And if you like, feel free to support it so we can spread more awareness and kind of hopefully make Blizzard act a bit faster. But here is pit 100. As you can see, we're starting to do some 48 billion damages and stuff like that. That's the heating up phase. We're gonna start doing more very soon. Basically, it's this one. When you reach 8 stacks, you start doing a lot of damage. There we go, 87 billion, 125 billion. We're pretty much reaching a very good stage. But because of Apogeic Fuhrer, sometimes you can see the ups and downs. 9, 10 billion, barely 10 billion, and on the previous one we had 125. It's ridiculous. Now, there is a witch power, which also kind of contributes to the issue, and that's Force of Will. Force of Will is quite good, because for each enemy you kill, you get 6% more multiplicative overpower damage. That's very good, and obviously very good for clearing up packs. Not so good for beating bosses, right? So there's that. When you combine this with aspect of Apogeic Fuhrer not working right, bosses sometimes can be very hard to defeat. They just take a lot of time. As far as survivability goes for the builds, we're doing okay, right? So we got 33k HP. We can reach probably more with the Doombringer, but then we're gonna lose DPS. So for the moment, I am sticking with 2 one-handed maces. We are barely taking any damage when we start spinning the Iron Maelstrom. We get 40% damage reduction from Iron Maelstrom spins. So combine that with Challenging Shout and everything, and all the cooldown and all the damage reductions that we usually have as a Barb. Almost zero problems. The trick is to keep on spinning. If you stop spinning, then mobs are gonna start hitting hard. So that means you don't want to get CC'd really. It's kind of hard to get CC'd with having so little, cooldown between shouts. So almost no issue with that. But yes, you want to make sure that you kind of apply that debuff to them. Now, the witch powers also have a hex of shattering, which essentially makes them do even less damage. So currently they do 60% less damage to me, 20 from the shattering, from the hex, and 40 from Iron Maelstrom itself. They still do some damage from time to time, but if you play your cards right, there is zero issues. So yeah. There are some issues. Sometimes, by a mistake of our own, a human error, we can offset the build rotation of Earthstriker. So basically, we can reach up a situation where we are like not overpowering correctly, and the rotation of the weapons is not correct. So when you reach up that stage, and I'll show you a bit clearer in the in other places, maybe not in the pits here, I'll show you a bit more about it and what can happen, what can go wrong, and how you can fix it. So sometimes human errors do happen, and I believe we are currently experiencing one. Let's see, how many rotations have I got? I got 4. So I always have to make sure that when my Iron Maelstrom starts, it's on an even amount of weapon swaps. So 3, 6, 9, 0. If it isn't, then I have to fix it, because otherwise I'm not doing damage. This happens usually because during the Iron Maelstrom ultimate casting, in between the phases, we inadvertently cast Frenzy, which gives us another weapon swap, which kind of messes up the counting. So, ideally speaking, it's all about getting used to it and being more concentrated. Now, I did make a few mistakes, so I am behind with a minute, which is, or at least a minute or two, with the timer. I could have finished earlier, but we're still going to be able to finish it, even with some errors. If there was no bug, we would have been doing way more damage, but yes. It is what it is. Currently, in its current state, with the nerfs, bugs and everything else, I would give 6.5 out of 10 to the build. If they fix the bug, then the build would probably be 8 or 9 out of 10.
It's a fight you wanted. Now the potential's cut.
Okay, so let's see now how things are gonna be with the boss. The problem with the boss is, first off, our force of will aspect, force of will witch power disappears because we're not killing any mobs. Luckily this time we just killed some mobs, so we're gonna get some extra power. But the truth is, because of Apogeic Fury being bugged up, we're not able to concentrate our damage. And because we're not able to concentrate our damage, we're doing less of it. And there's also the fact that we do 60% more damage multiplicatively to targets who are healthy or injured. So him being right now in the middle of our HP, we're going to be doing a very low amount of damage. We did manage to hit 108 billion, so that's not too bad. But it's still, it's not what it should have been, but it is what it is for now. Fingers crossed that they fix the bug. If they do, happy days. Even if they don't, we're gonna be able to push pits in higher tier content. Just we're not gonna be able to reach a pit 140 or 50. Rather, we'll be able probably to reach 120 and 30. But they will fix it. They will fix it, and once they do, we're gonna have a good time. Thank you guys all for watching. I hope you have a nice season. I hope you enjoy your time if you're playing Iron Maelstrom, and I'll see you around, hopefully on hardcore. Stay safe. Have a nice one.